epic! Be epic! Epic! So epic!
What's going on, you amazing people? Welcome back to another deck list review. The Pocket Mads tournament number 19 has just concluded a couple hours ago. Not to worry, our fearless leader, Suicune Ninja, is still top of the meta. Praise be to him. Second place was Hydreigon, so the finals match was nothing short of exhilarating. Actually was a pretty good match today, but again, kind of tired of seeing the top two decks be those two back to back to back to back, and Suicune always coming out on top. Regardless, there were some really cool surprises that were thrown in there for just the day as it was. We saw the evolution of Altaria with Ghoulgeist. I thought that was pretty neat. Ran into a few of those. I think it beat two of them, lost to two of them. I was playing Buzzwole. But we started seeing some really interesting stalwart decks. We started seeing Indeedee, Snorlax, and then the one we're going to be showcasing today was the third place in the tournament. Went 12-2. It is actually Mega Steelix and Indeedee. Now, just an initial look at the deck list. Fascinating card choices, right? I mean, it's about what you would expect from a deck that its whole goal is to make sure that you are doing nothing and there is nothing your opponent can do about it. We're running double Ice Pop, double Helmet, double Pokemon Center Lady, double Brock to get this 4 energy monster online, and then hopefully setting up both of our Indeedees on the bench in order to make sure that people attacking for 130 are really only attacking for 100 or less than probably 60 on a given turn. It is a disgusting deck once you actually get it set up and ready to go. And as you'll see in today's showcases, crazy things that you have to do to beat this deck. You have to be very strategic with how you place your Greninja pings, with how you even just encounter attacking in the first place, because now attacking first as the Mega EX isn't always the worst move, because you can just heal off anything that your opponent does. So first deck that we're going to be playing against today is this Space Time Smackdown throwback. Somebody's playing the Magnezone Darkrai deck here, and I'm sure it's with the new Magnezone that keeps you from flipping. But what we go ahead and do is, from what I saw played in the tournament, this is one of my first matches with it, so I'm not super experienced, but you want to start your Onyx, of course. You want to have the Indeedees on the bench. Those are just basically negating all the damage. He gets an early Magneton out, right? He's got it in the active spot. Then I see him attached to it. I'm thinking he probably has the Magnezone at this point. And now I'm trying to decide, where does the Mega Steelix go, right? We've already committed an energy to the front lines here. But if we stick Mega Steelix in the active and he just hits me for 90, 90, 90, 90, that doesn't look good. But then I kind of forgot, like, the whole point of the deck was to stall out and to continuously heal and heal and heal and heal. And I end up just putting the energy and the evolution onto the benched one. We see we get the Brock now, so now I'm thinking, okay, I can dig if I have to, and then I can go into, negate damage for a turn, and then go straight into attacking with the second evolution piece that I have in there on the next turn. And several things slip my mind here. One, the effect that Mirror Shot does, it makes you flip 2 coins, essentially, for your effects, because one is just so that the attack goes through, period. And I kind of forget that here, so I attach with Brock, and I use my Steel attachment to go onto it as well, so I can attack. Then I forget that there's 2 coin effects. I miss the second heads, and now I am dead the next turn. So big misplay there, but as you're going to see, not even that can stop the great Steelix from coming back and having some kind of match on his hands. Attaches to Darkrai, pings, then we get hit with a red card, kind of devastating. But right into double Lucky Pop Pokemon Center Lady. So we at least know we're surviving the next 2 turns. Whether or not we can attack or not remains to be seen. And now we're sitting here. There's our second man. Again, we don't need him anymore. Just concede to the next, or I guess we say opponent can go next. Throws up the second one here. And as you're going to see here a lot today, this deck takes a lot of willpower, takes a lot of brain power for your opponent to navigate. There's just so many numbers that are going through their head, how much you can heal for, how much is being negated, how many attacks they're going to have to do to get through 210 HP over 2, 3, 4, 5 turns. And you're going to see a lot of untimely concedes from people who are just not willing to do the math or the waiting. Whether or not this makes a big deal on the ranked ladder, I don't know. But as we see right here, now I'm looking at this. We pull second in DD, so now we're healing another 20 damage, and we're putting the helmet on. So we're, now we're only taking 20 less. They're taking 20 less damage. We're doing 70 to me plus his true ping from Darkrai. Very, very interesting stuff. And so now he just, he's checking his Instagram. He's checking something. Very interesting stuff. And let's see. Yeah, and then I think we just get to concede here. He did not want to have to deal with me healing 40 damage every turn, and then swinging for 120 back to back to back to back. Can you blame him? Not really, but however we get the victory, we got it. This next match is not what you want to see as a Steelix, Mega Steelix player. I don't think it's what you want to see as any player. We'll go ahead and watch it just because I kind of walk through the matchup. So start Steelix right, put the DD down. See the Psychic, so we're basically guaranteed an Altaria match here. Chingling there, we get the Pokeball off early, which is huge. Now we have Insurance Onix. Here's my mistake. I think what should have happened there would have been Brock to go on the benched Onix in case this happens, right? We got to research right into a Swablu. He still has 5 cards in hand next turn. I think I foolishly attach here to the active again, and we heal it. And I'm assuming there's no way he has Altaria double, Pokemon to bench. Why would I think that? Let's see as a thing in the game. Really just kind of a huge misplay on my part. So I guess if we run this to the simulation, right, theoretically I could have 2 on the benched Onix. This one goes down just because he's already swinging for 130. No deck really wants to see Altaria that early on with that full of a bench. So I don't know how much of a difference it really would have made. Plus, we search here for Steelix. We don't find it. Even the heavy helmet does not keep us from getting the numbers we need to survive another attack. So I don't know if there's actually any winning that one, but if there's a better way to play it, it probably would have been to build up Bench Onix into Mega Steelix. Nice little get to see me tabbing through screens. Next match here, also another interesting match. It has a long loading time in the beginning. I think I forgot about, but I guess we're loading in from somewhere. But yeah, I guess things to consider for the deck, right? We are running the 1/1 line of the Onix. I have had times where the dig comes in handy and you're negating damage for a turn. I've also had times where it would have been really nice to have both my Onixes be available to knock out an Oricorio. That's kind of foreshadowing, but 1/1 line seems to be fine right now. Cards to add. That's kind of the big one. Because we have our double, where we have our 1/1 Onix, we have our our double Steelix, and we have our DD, double Ice Pop, double Helmet, double Pokemon Scent Lady, double Professors, and Copycat, and the Brock. What felt like it was missing the most was probably some type of access to the opponent's bench. A Sabrina, I think a Cyrus, honestly, is more worthy of an inclusion than not. I had several games where there was just, you're dealing 120. So like this Absol, for instance, right? Dealing 120, it can easily retreat for 1 cost, go into another Pokemon, and then just start swinging from there as if nothing happened. And now you have no way to access it. You have to go through whatever they put in front of you. That really is the huge drawback from this deck, if people know how to play it. So in this back to the match here, we decide to attach to the benched Onix. I get lucky enough to have both these in DDs here, and as you saw, even with weakness, the Dino, it just healed it right off, shrugged it right off. Now, I'm not fearing the rare candy into the Hydreigon, right? That's no longer a worry of mine. He's sitting with 2 cards in his hand. I know one of them's a basic, and I'm trying to keep my hand low just so that a Copycat is pretty worthless to him. I think the better play that I could have gone for here in a minute would have probably been to go into this Onyx, even though I wouldn't have been able to attack next turn for several reasons. So right, still getting this topped off, but the Absol is able to attack next turn for 80 damage and rip a supporter from my hand. Even if he attacks, right, I have Helmet on, I have double Indeedee, I could have healed off 60 of his 80 damage that he's putting onto me, plus Ice Pop, so I would have been at nothing, and then I would have been able to attack into the Absol. Didn't really think about that. Ends up not mattering later, but he goes ahead and he promotes Mega Absol, right? He's going to swing into me, take a nice, healthy chunk out of the Indeedee. I'm now worried about a Cyrus from him, but I'm also noticing there's no room for him to place right now one of his leap over Absols to get another 1 point, or the other Indeedee. So I'm feeling a little bit better. Go ahead and heal her up. And now I think I make another, maybe it's a mistake, maybe it's not. But again, I keep her in the active spot, and I know that if I can hit 2 Ice Pops, right, only 1 flip, I can survive another attack. I don't hit it, so now I'm in jeopardy of getting hit and being knocked out, and now I'm down in Indeedee, which is, you know, it gets a High Dragon that is hitting for 130 is not ideal. Not something I thought about while I was playing this deck, just because I was, you know, again, I'm trying to figure this matchup out, I'm trying to figure out the deck, period. But that is something that I probably would have played differently there. The Indeedee probably would have been back on the bench 2 turns ago with no damage out of it, and this Steelix would just be eating everything that comes at it. But live and learn. He's going to not attack again with the Absol, which I think is his biggest misplay of the game. Because that heal from that one Indeedee, you know, that might do 60, 80, 100 heals over 5 turns if it goes that long. So I think maybe he's just not even used to playing this matchup yet. Like I said, I've never seen this deck before the tournament this weekend. And it's just a very different playstyle. Everything, you know, High Dragon, Suicune Ninja, it's all very high rolly. Very, very interesting gameplay switch up for this, right? And so now we just heal off whatever damage is left. We now have a pingless Indeedee. We can retreat back onto the bench, and we're swinging for 120, negating 40 damage from the Mega Steelix. And so we've just created an absolute beast. Go ahead and slap the other Mega Steelix down there just so I can keep my hand small. If he pings it and drags it up there, whether that's a Onyx or a Steelix, I don't think that makes too much of a difference in this matchup. In hindsight, again, I'm thinking now, he pings it, he just gets to wail on it for a while. I could keep it up while I power it up again, but maybe it's wise just to keep it as a 1-point Pokemon. I'm not sure though. Either way, he's going to throw, you know, he finally gets a Rare Candy Hydreigon. He's gonna go there, and of course, what does he have? Lily to top it off, because why not run a Lily instead of a Pokemon Center Lady or Lucky Ice Pops, but whatever. He does that. I am now swinging into a Barb, which doesn't feel good, especially with the Neolego on the bench. But we're going to heal for 20 here, so we can guarantee ourselves living through the next turn. And I debate between putting the Pokemon Center Lady on the Mega Steelix now or later, just because later I'll be able to heal from the poison damage. But then I kind of realize if I'm doing 120, if his only option is to either attach and then kill himself with the Hydreigon next turn, and then go up and promote the Mega Absol. And then at that point, it's going to be ripped out of my hands anyways. So I figured I'd go ahead and use it. Now he's in an interesting spot, right? He either drew some kind of heal, which I highly doubt he's running two of. If he's running a Lily, and now he doesn't. So now he has to make the decision, you know, do I give him another point? Or, you know, I guess he doesn't have any other heals, because I feel like if you don't have any heals, you make me attack into the Hydreigon another turn, take that additional damage from the Barb. He goes ahead and does it, right? Takes himself out, promotes up the Absol. And here's where that Cyrus from earlier that I was talking about would have come into handy, or at least to have as an option, because he's going to swing into me right here. You know, he's going to do the 40 damage. I'm going to heal that right back off, but it's still doing that chip damage on the barb right from the poison. But I'm going to swing into him now. And now, I'm getting closer to a second one on the bench that, if unchecked, can be a fresh Steelix that rolls up in there. And if I can keep that one out of Cyrusable or damage range, even the Cyrus isn't really too scary for me. And now with no other options, he's just forced to basically retreat and give me the last point very courteously. It doesn't quit on me. Attacks even. Does the additional damage, and that's game. Yeah, so it was a very interesting matchup, but if he had not given me, or had somehow been able to get out of attacking with Hydreigon a second time, right, and somehow he's able to get that back on the bench, having the Cyrus there would have been a huge boost to my odds of winning the game if that became an option. Okay. Yeah, next match I think is a very infuriating one. So we're going to go ahead and watch it. Yeah, I think I made a few misplays in here that I kind of want to go over if we're learning how to pilot this deck well. But it almost seems like this deck right here was built to destroy this specific build. And you'll see why in a little bit. But I see the Eevee, I see the energy is Psychic, so I'm immediately thinking, okay, we're running Espeon or Sylveon from Eevee Grove, or we are running Energy Cross Espeon, attacking for 1 energy. Any one of those things is not good to see right here for this matchup. Now there's Indeedee on the bench. Thankfully, we find the Heavy Helmet. I attach here. I was really hoping for a Brock to get a little chip damage on him, but we don't find it. I don't end up benching this Onix yet because I'm still trying to figure out, maybe there was a better play, but a Sabrina sets me back here like 3 generations if I put it down on there. But now that I have no Brock, I'm going to go ahead and evolve it, because I know that either way it's going to take me one more turn to get to swing it on it. And now I figured, you know what, I'm going to be hitting for 120 next turn. If he is lucky enough to Sabrina me on this turn, that would suck. But he's not doing any damage to my Steelix, so it would give me more time to set up my other Indeedees so I could heal off any damage that comes later. And so, he now has Energy Crush Espeon, which seems scary at first, but with the helmet, he's only doing 40. If I can find double Indeedee, we're chilling. So I go ahead and Lucky Eyes pop here to show him that his damage means nothing, and that he should go home. And we do just that. Flip 1 heads, and we are, just like that, back onto the full health Mega Steelix. Now, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to copycat here, hopefully trying to find some more support. And look at that. We find Pokeball and second helmet. So now it just makes it killing that one that much harder. Increases our stall game that much more. And another Lucky Ice Pop. Hopefully we can get some few off there. And we get to kill the Espeon, right? So a lot of good things happen this round. Just kind of worked out for that one. But then what you're about to see is a sequence of plays of which I don't think anybody in the comments could guess is going to happen. But, we're playing a Indeedee here. And now we're teching in Guzma. What this is for, I have no idea. I know a lot of things are putting up helmets and capes and stuff like that, and I can understand how it would be helpful. I've seen Guzma in a few lists this week. I even think the last Suicune deck that won the tournament today was playing a Guzma, so not super surprised to see it here, but just it was a big surprise because an attacking Indeedee plus a, that, it just, I don't know, it blew my mind. But now I'm looking at this, I'm saying, okay, I'm not doing the 130, that really sucks. A Cyrus would be nice, again. But we're going to attack into it. He can't attack next turn. And now he's forced to send up a baby Eevee, which would give me another point. And then he, if he promotes Giratina, he's going to hit me. Unless he has a cape, he's going down to 120. I'm killing him with that damage threshold. And then this, this is kind of surprises me, right? He double heals his Indeedee. And then he's going to promote his other Indeedee. And I'm thinking, okay, you've basically just given me game on board. That's perfect. And then the Dawn comes out. What this... I don't know what this deck is tech for. I really don't, and it threw me for a huge loop. I was very I'm looking at myself while I was playing. I was just appalled that that is what we were running. But anyways, on to the next game. I don't think there's anything else I could have done there a little bit differently. Okay, but whatever. On to the next match. What would I put the Cyrus in for? If I haven't already said it, it would either have to be the Ice Pop, one of them. Saying Copycat feels wrong. If you can't find your pieces, it can be a little detrimental. But if you're healing or you have a helmet, it's like there are a lot of ways to add. I don't know. I'd probably sacrifice one of the pops for it. But what you're about to watch here is probably the most exciting match you're going to see from this entire VOD. So we learn from our mistakes. We put the Ndidi back immediately. And then we go ahead and I think we copycat here. But this is really going to showcase kind of the importance of, or maybe the question that needs to be asked as far as what Onyx do we run? Do we run two of the same one? Because now we're playing a Oricorio, Kangaskhan, Greninja build. A lot of words. But that's the deck we're playing. And already I'll kind of get say this first. The 70 damage that we're dealing to Oricorio with this active spot Onyx is going to be very important. Because on the bench, unfortunately, we have the Dig Onyx. And we really want to keep our Dig Onyx for Mega Steelix, so that when we evolve into him, we can keep our 50 damage Onyx available to then come up later and just start one hit KOing these Oricorios. But because it's the one I started with, I have to start it. And as you're going to see here in a few turns, we're going to be forced to evolve into a Mega Steelix. So, you know, we're attaching. He's setting up his board state. He's already got both of them online. I know that, you know, one of the good things about having the heavy helmet is Kangaskhan is, you know, because he attacks twice, he is swinging into the helmet twice, meaning he's doing 40 less than he would normally. So that means he's doing a total of, I think, 80 per turn, which is 20 less than, you know, he needs. So we go ahead and attack. We take one crucial point, which you'll see how crucial that point was later. And he promotes Kangaskhan, right? Time for him to apply pressure. All my energy has been given onto one single Onyx. And if he can take it out, good for him. I was fearing the Geo play there. Doesn't come out. But the Froakie does. And now I'm realizing that the water is not just for an Irida. It is for a attacking Greninja. So that starts to freak me out a little bit. We survive barely. But we have a full bench. And we just drew the Lucky Ice Pop. So now we're healing for 60 guaranteed. We really need to hit aheads on this Ice Pop to guarantee our boy survives next turn. And this is where this turning point kind of happens. We don't hit it. We hit a Professor's. And we somehow don't hit the other Ice Pop. Now I am forced to basically evolve into Mega Steelix on this 50, this Headbutt Onyx. Which doesn't feel good at all. So we're forcing him to either have Ilima or for him to retreat all of his energy out of here. And he's going to Ilima. Spoiler alert, he takes it out. If he didn't, though, this is where the Cyrus, again, would come into become a huge benefit to me. Because now I have, game on board. I'm at least saying to him, hey, I am a threat to your active, or to basically your only Mega Pokemon on the field. And he has to think about that the whole game. He has to make some different decisions. Unfortunately, we don't have that in this list. I'm now that I'm thinking about it, I really think the move is to take out one of the Ice Pops and replace it with the Cyrus. But I guess that'll be something to try out. And here's the interesting part. He starts, we're carrying Greninjas, of course. He starts pinging the Ndidi. And then he benches a second Oricorio. If I'm him, I see the fact that I'm using Dig Onyx. I'm only doing 50 a turn to your Oricorio, so every Oricorio is 2-shot. You have 2 of them. I don't see a world in which you just don't start pinging the Onyx. 5 turns and he's dead, guaranteed. Or I have to commit all of my healing resources to him, at which point, whatever. And then once he basically has double Oricorio on the board, he is he is home free to just chip away as many turns as he needs to with his Greninja plus his, Oricorios and defeat me. And just because I cannot do anything. There is no attacker I have. Nothing has chip damage on it, right? He just eliminated his Kangaskhan. But he decides to go for the line of destroying my Indeedee. I don't think it was a very smart play, and it's actually going to be what makes this a closer game than it probably should have been for him. But he goes and attacks, right? He does 10 damage. I can heal that off very easily. And so now here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, okay, this guy is not respecting the Onix. I take all the energy off, which feels terrible. It is going to be another 4 turns till I'm able to attack with Mega Steelix again, but because we were playing the long game, 4 turns is 4 turns. And so now we're forcing him to either retreat out of this Oricorio into something else, or to start applying pressure while I have... I think his play here is to kill this Onix with his Kangaskhan. I don't see how he doesn't see this play. My opponent here made so many misplays, and I'm not sure if it's just because he's new to the Onix matchup, or just didn't realize that he could do that damage this turn. Whatever the reason is. Oh, actually, I flip heads on Dig, so that was kind of huge. But either way, at any one of these next few turns, that is still a legitimate play. Right? I just flipped tails there. He keeps the Greninja in here and then just decides to keep going after the Indeedee. I'm looking at myself in the second monitor here, and I'm just like appalled. But yeah, he basically has game on board theoretically right now. Like I'm 3 turns from attacking with Steelix, which gives him plenty of time to retreat everything onto the bench and just start wailing away with Greninja and Oricorios, and I really just can't do anything about it. So interesting when you rewatch these VODs. I was very invested in the game when I was playing it, of course. So I was kind of just like, oh, we have like, I'm not even thinking about the lines that he's seeing, or at least all of them. And then here comes Irida, which basically means we are playing another 5 turns between the 2 Pokemon that he healed, and he goes after the Indeedee again, right? He keeps wailing away. And this entire time, he is able to take out this Onix up front. He can do it. I don't know if he was thinking, if I put my Kangaskhan in the active, now it's getting, hurt by the Steelix that isn't even online yet. I don't know what he's thinking. But he doesn't. And this is why I think the conversation of what Steelix are you playing is pretty, or Onix are you playing, because getting that early knockout on the Oricorio actually does then put pressure on him to probably keep this Greninja playing the way he is right now, or whatnot. It also makes Cyrus, a little bit more of a threat. I'm not sure. I'd have to play with the other variant, but now my plan is basically we're going to charge up this back one, and we're just going to keep doing damage as much as we can on this front one while we keep up our Indeedee in the back line. Hope we flip a few heads on the damage reduction or negation, and then hope for a misplay at some point from him, even though he's already made one as long as he's been having this Greninja in the active spot. But yeah, really interesting, I guess, to think about. And again, the more I look at this, the more I'm just kind of curious as to how this game didn't end 10 turns ago. It ends up going to turn 28, which means we both had this total of 56 back and forths between my opponent and I. Really interesting stuff. So now I'm just like, okay, he's going to put the Oricorio in the active spot once the Greninja's gone. And so my plan is just to build up the front so that I can go Steelix back into regular Onix to take on the Oricorios. And then again, I guess I was planning on building up the Mega Steelix again and then being ready for Kangaskhan if that ever became a issue. And I know in his hand, right, he's got 5 cards. There's Rare Candy Greninja in there, so that's 3 of his cards. My guess is that there is another card that he cannot play, be it a Research or a Copycat, that just are no longer make any sense to use in this game. He lets his Greninja go down, and he promotes one of his Oricorios. And now I know Froakies going down this turn, The next turn, he's got Rare Candy Greninja. Again, doesn't seem to be too interested in taking out this active Onyx even with 2 Oricories on the bench. He attacks, of which I'm going to shrug off that energy, or shrug off that damage. And then we're going to attack, hope that we can hide, in case he starts to magically see his win condition. And then I think the insanity of playing this deck gets to his head, because he just promotes Froakie. He rare candies it and just does the whole song and dance over again, forgetting that I could have at any given moment last time promoted Mega Steelix because he can do 120, and that was game on board. Again, what my opponent was going through was probably some kind of psychiatric problem. Feel terrible for the guy, but that was a game. And as always, if you guys enjoyed it, leave a like, subscribe. At 100 subscribers, we are doing a full art Cyrus giveaway. Yes, a full art Cyrus. You can give me whatever trash you want in exchange for that Cyrus. Yeah, thanks so much for watching. Stay epic.